Asteroids are not as rare as it may seem. About 17,000 heavenly stones visit us every year. Surely you've seen at least one of them if you've watched a shooting star. Passing through the Earth's atmosphere, they leave behind bright tails. Of course, they look beautiful only in the sky. If they reached Earth, the consequences would be catastrophic. Fortunately for us, most of them explode at an altitude of 50 to 80 kilometers above the surface. Their mass is too small for them to withstand such a journey to the end. Therefore, most of them are harmless to us, but do not underestimate them. Let's start with the smallest ones. Asteroids ranging in size from 30 centimeters to a meter. They are smaller than a person's height and too small to cause damage. Most often they explode in the atmosphere before reaching its lower layers, but even they splash out tons of energy. Asteroids are about 4 meters in size. This is the height of a giraffe or mammoth. Meteorites of this size come to us less often, once every year and a half. Like the smallest ones, they fortunately do not pose a serious threat, but they splash out even more energy. 9 meters, the height of the building is 3 or 4 floors. They visit us once every 10 years and their visit is a serious matter. They throw out a wave that can demolish an entire city. I think you can imagine how catastrophic the consequences will be if such an asteroid touches the Earth. 20 meters is a multi-story building. Such stalwarts like to visit Earth once every 60 to 70 years. The good news is, they explode 20 kilometers above the ground. The released energy would destroy an entire city if such an asteroid touched the Earth. The bad news is, such an asteroid visited us recently and the consequences were quite severe. It happened in Chelyabinsk on February 15, 2013 at about 9:20 a.m. local time. The giant slowed down in the Earth's atmosphere, and then broke up into small pieces at an altitude of 23 kilometers. These pieces scattered in different directions. They smashed windows all over the city and damaged many buildings, including houses, schools, and so on. It took a long time to restore everything and the scale of the destruction was serious. As a result, 1,615 people were injured, but fortunately there were no casualties. In general, we are safe now. The next such asteroid may arrive to us only in the 70s or 80s of the current century, and no one knows where he wants to land. Okay, let's move on. 90 meters. This is the height of the Statue of Liberty together with the pedestal. Such a giant can be seen once in 4,500 years. And this is the first asteroid on our list that can literally crash into the ground. The consequences will be terrible. He can not only destroy an entire city, but also set fire to neighboring districts. People have witnessed the fall of such a meteorite on our planet not so long ago. Tunguska meteorite, the biggest disaster involving an asteroid that humanity has found. It all happened on June 30, 1908 in eastern Siberia. The meteorite was as bright as the second sun and people felt a heat wave as it approached the Earth. It exploded near the river. Fortunately, he fell in the taiga and there were no big cities nearby. However, he instantly destroyed many trees. Forest fires started. The sound of the explosion could be heard for many kilometers around. Dozens of kilometers from the crash site, windows were broken in houses. The magnetic storm that arose as a result of this collision lasted 5 hours. The consequences were disastrous. But perhaps this is not the worst thing that awaits humanity. Apophis, 370 meters, slightly more than the Eiffel Tower. This meteorite, as scientists found out in 2013, visited our planet. It flew at a distance of 14.46 million kilometers from Earth on January 9, 2013. A collision of such a force occurs once in about 100,000 years and the next one is gradually approaching. The force of such an explosion is equal to the force of the catastrophic eruption of the Krakatoa volcano in 1883. This eruption is considered one of the most destructive in history. It caused a terrible tsunami. 165 cities and settlements were completely destroyed, and another 132 were seriously damaged. People all over the world have felt the effects of the eruption to one degree or another. Such an asteroid will leave behind a crater with a diameter of 5.5 kilometers, and it is with him that we will encounter in the distant future. But it's too early to panic yet. By 2070, the meteorite will be 280 million kilometers away. He still has a very long way to go, so we're safe for at least 100 years or more. In addition, our planet has experienced something worse. 1 kilometer is more than the world's tallest tower, the Burj Khalifa in Dubai. Such collisions occur once every 500,000 years. We don't know for sure when such a collision happened the last time. 70% of our planet is covered with water. It is extremely difficult to find traces of such a meteorite in the ocean, but we can assume possible consequences. The wave will sweep across the entire hemisphere, the crater will reach 15 kilometers in diameter, and it will be a complete disaster. The last event of such power occurred from 26 to 28 million years ago. It was an eruption of the La Garita supervolcano in the southwestern state of Colorado in the USA. It was one of the most powerful known supervolcanic phenomena in history. During the monstrous eruption, a significant part of the current state of Colorado was destroyed. Scientists are still not sure how far the ash has spread, but there was an even larger meteorite in the history of mankind. The consequences of this blow turned out to be irreversible for a whole type of animals. I think you understand what I'm talking about. The Chicxulub meteorite wiped the dinosaurs off the face of the Earth. This happened about 66 million years ago. Such collisions occur approximately once every 500 million years. The size of the Chicxulub meteorite was 20 kilometers. After touching the ground, it still reached the stratosphere. Looking at the crater with a diameter of 200 kilometers left by this meteorite, you can imagine how huge it was. When it collided with the Earth, millions of tons of energy were released. It was an unimaginable disaster. It fell at a very steep angle, creating a giant cloud of dust and chemicals that spread around the world. This dust was very fine, but at the same time its mass was 500 trillion tons. The shock wave swept across the entire planet. It caused several earthquakes, volcanoes began to erupt actively, fires broke out all over the world. The amount of soot and carbon monoxide released into the atmosphere is difficult to even imagine. The Earth was closed from the sun for several days. Darkness reigned over the entire planet. The plants could not produce enough oxygen, so there was nothing to breathe. The temperature on the continents and in the oceans dropped by 10 and 30 C. A terrible picture, you must agree. And of course, it caused one of the greatest extinctions in the history of the Earth's biosphere. Surprisingly, the Earth was able to recover after such a disaster. This event became the boundary between the Mesozoic and Cenozoic eras. So, now those who wondered how a small meteorite could destroy all the dinosaurs probably got the answer. Perhaps the largest collision in the history of the Earth was not with a meteorite, but with an entire planet. This happened many billions of years ago. You, as this hypothetical dwarf planet was called, crashed into our Earth, releasing an immeasurable amount of energy. After that, the Earth instantly turned into a giant bonfire. It was this collision that led to the creation of the Moon. Sounds terrifying, I know. Let's hope that you and I will not see anything like this.